The money secrets schools never taught you, Rich Dad Poor Dad explained. Imagine growing up with two father figures, one highly educated but always struggling financially, and the other with little formal education but a deep understanding of how money works, who becomes wealthy and financially free. That is the contrast Robert Kiyosaki shares in Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it is this contrast that forever changed the way millions of people think about money, work, and life. This book isn't just a financial guide, it's a complete reprogramming of the way we are taught to see wealth. What makes it so powerful is that the lessons are not complicated, they're simple truths that most of us never learned because our schools, parents, and society trained us for a different path. The story begins with the idea that traditional education is designed to prepare us to be employees, not owners. We're taught to get good grades, go to college, secure a stable job, and climb the corporate ladder. But Kiyosaki's Rich Dad saw the world differently. He believed that working for money alone was a trap, and the key to true freedom was to make money work for you. This mindset shift is perhaps the most life-altering realization in the book. Wealth is not about how much you earn, but how you think about money and what you do with it. One of the most striking realizations is the way financial literacy is absent from our education. We're taught algebra, history, and literature, but not how to manage debt, invest, or build wealth. This lack of financial education keeps people in cycles of dependency. Kiyosaki explains that the poor and middle class work hard for money, but the rich focus on acquiring assets, things that put money in your pocket, while minimizing liabilities, which take money out of your pocket. Once you begin to view every purchase, every financial decision, through the lens of assets versus liabilities, your world shifts. Suddenly, you realize that your house may not actually be an asset if it drains you with expenses rather than generating income. That single idea has caused countless readers to rethink their financial lives. The book also delves deeply into mindset. Fear and desire control the majority of people's financial choices. Fear of not having enough drives people into jobs they dislike, while desire for comfort or status drives them into debt buying things they don't need. The wealthy, by contrast, learn to master fear and desire rather than being controlled by them. They are willing to take calculated risks, willing to be uncomfortable, and willing to learn from failure. This mental toughness is as important as financial knowledge itself. One of the most eye-opening parts of Kiyosaki's philosophy is his emphasis on entrepreneurship and investing as paths to financial freedom. While employees rely on salaries and promotions, investors and business owners build systems that continue generating income even when they are not working. This is the essence of passive income, money working for you while you sleep. For many readers, this is the first time they see wealth not as a number in a bank account, but as a lifestyle sustained by systems and smart choices. The book also challenges the belief that taking risks is dangerous. Kiyosaki argues that the real danger is financial ignorance. He explains that every financial move involves some level of risk, but education and experience can reduce that risk dramatically. The poor avoid investing out of fear, but the wealthy study, learn, and step into opportunities with confidence. They know that mistakes are part of the process. By reframing failure as a stepping stone rather than an end point, Rich Dad teaches us to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Taxation and laws also play a surprising role in wealth creation. Kiyosaki shows how the rich legally use corporations, tax codes, and financial structures to protect their wealth and minimize liabilities. This isn't about cheating the system, it's about understanding it. The poor and middle class often pay the highest share of taxes because they earn wages, while the wealthy earn from investments and businesses structured to take advantage of legal tax benefits. Learning how money really flows through the system is part of financial literacy, and it's a wake-up call for anyone who has only ever thought of money in terms of a paycheck. Perhaps one of the most powerful ideas is the importance of lifelong learning. Rich Dad continually emphasized the need to keep growing financially by seeking knowledge, mentors, and opportunities. Instead of being content with a fixed income and job security, the wealthy invest in themselves, learning skills, expanding networks, and staying curious about how the world works. This isn't a one-time effort, it's an ongoing commitment to self-education that pays dividends far beyond any single investment. By the end of the book, the difference between Poor Dad and Rich Dad becomes clear. Poor Dad worked hard, valued education, and lived honorably, but he remained trapped in financial struggle. Rich Dad, without formal education, focused on financial intelligence, assets, and opportunities, and achieved financial freedom. The key message is that we all have the power to choose which mindset we adopt. You don't need to be born wealthy to think like the rich, you simply need to reprogram your brain to understand money as a tool and a servant, not a master. The brilliance of Rich Dad Poor Dad lies in its ability to shift your perspective. Once you've seen the difference between working for money and having money work for you, you cannot unsee it. Suddenly, every decision about spending, saving, and investing takes on a new weight. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "How can I afford this?" You stop fearing risk and start fearing stagnation. And most importantly, you stop believing that your financial destiny is fixed by your job, your degree, or your background. You realize it is shaped by the thoughts you think, the actions you take, and the education you pursue outside of traditional systems. Millions of readers around the world resonate with this because it breaks the chains of financial dependence and opens the door to freedom. It's not about greed, it's about control, freedom, and choice. It's about building a life where you decide how you spend your time, rather than trading your time for money. And it all begins with the lessons Robert Kiyosaki shared through the wisdom of his rich dad.